trying to do it.
Oh, I just heard the back door of the seats here. I knew I shouldn't start. Usually I'm the one running in at 11.
Yeah, but if you had waited, nobody would have came in. That's just how it always works.
All right, I shared your screen. Everyone on this call stage your screen now, or on the recording.
I would like one company announcement before we jump into working with Bill here. We had a meeting. You see, I'm never gonna start a minute early. I'm sorry, I got so excited to talk about this. So we have a corporate challenge meeting today. Is there anyone here that doesn't know what that is? Doesn't? You don't know what it is? You don't know what it is? Okay, so I just recently heard about it the last few years. I think it's been going on in Buffalo for ever though. Like,
Long time, yeah.
20
I worked
years.
at the travel agency.
20 years. So it's once a year, Delaware Park, it's the corporate challenge, it's where companies around Western New York, Buffalo, New York, Rochester, go as a group and run a race together, a 5K race, and it doesn't necessarily even have to be a run. It's all shapes and sizes and activity levels. You can run it, you can walk it, and you don't even have to register and do the walk or run, you can just hang out. So we're gonna rent a tent. We have a small committee, it's Derek Merritt and myself that have been working on the logistics for this event. It is going to be on 6/16, that's the date of the race. It's at 6:30 PM race time, and we're thinking about a 4:30 show up hangout time, maybe 4:30, 5 o'clock, maybe 5. Who needs to be there 2 hours beforehand, because there's a lot of booze and food.
Yeah, well, usually afterwards, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so getting there beforehand is really just, people go early because there's
Yeah.
just a lot of people and it's,
Yeah.
parking is kind of
Parking,
hard,
I
you
would
gotta
get
kind
there,
of
yeah,
walk.
parking super tough.
Yeah, the earlier the better, but if you don't get there until 6 o'clock, you don't get there till 6 o'clock,
It's gonna be crazy.
it's just gonna be kind of nutty
Yeah.
to find where you gotta be.
So carpools and carriage out, right?
Yeah.
This is just like an overview quick, just so you guys can register. We are trying to encourage everyone to register by end of the first week in May, just so we can get our head count, because we have 2 sponsors, Grant Cazzoni from the insurance agency. We have, Ray Corbin, an attorney, and we're gonna have again, food, alcohol, water, and a tent, a big tent. We're gonna do a branded, spread of Nickel City Realty t-shirts and swag and
What is
tables
this?
and chairs.
Corporate
This is the
challenge?
corporate challenge. So if you can hop onto the event on the Facebook form and register as soon as you can, so we can start to build out our head count. So we know how big of a tent to rent and how many chairs and tables to get. So that's pretty important, because I don't want the tents to sell out. So miss out. But welcome, Bill. I'll hand it over to you.
Hi, everyone. My name's Bill Lund with CoreLogic. Shannon just asked me to come in today and kind of go through whatever is on your mind and kind of look at the auto email feature and whatever the case might be. If you have any questions, any problems, we can go through those. We can jump around to anywhere. So you're all have been using the system for a while, assuming no one's brand new. Anyone brand new? No? Okay, so anyways, let me jump right into the auto email. I've heard there's been some issues with that. Maybe it's not your favorite feature to use, but it does the job. So I'm just gonna go and put a quick search here. Family. Let's do it real simple. Farther away from the screen that I was doing. No, this is fine. Yeah. No, this is good. I'd like to be.
I actually like
Okay, perfect. So anyways, here I've got a search for Depew Village. And we've got, how many is it? 7. Okay, good. I need a new so we've got somebody looking at that area. So what I'll do is actually see the results. Of course, we could send those out manually, just email them. But maybe we're talking with the clients and say, by the way, I can get them out to you a lot faster by automated. How many of you are doing that a lot? Basically all the time. I mean, it's such a hot market. You want to get those listings out to everyone quickly. So this is probably the best way. So what I'll do is I'll come down here and actually do a save search up there. And I've got the option of just saving this manually, it puts it off to the side, or I'll go into the other email. And what I want to do here is actually create a new contact. I want to show you one feature that may be helpful. Up here at the top, notice it says allow reverse prospecting. If you keep that checked, let's say I find your listing, I send your listing to my client. If that is checked, you'll be able to see back and see who sent that listing out. Are you all aware of that? I don't know how many of these classes you've already been on. It's like, okay, show something new. But yeah, if this is checked, you'll be able to see the agent that sent your listing out. If I want to be more anonymous, I could uncheck that. Now you'll see your listing has been sent. You'll get a count of every time it's been sent, how many times the clients have actually looked at those listings. But I'll keep it unchecked today since it's just a classroom
Can
exercise.
you show us where to find that information at some point today?
As far as how many times it's been looked at, sure.
Right,
I'll
yeah,
do
I've
that.
actually never.
So anyways, I'm just gonna create a new contact here. So I've got my new contact and I'll type in an address. Now I've created a new, I left that on my, let's do it this way. I did type Gmail, right? It's hard to see from there. Okay, good. Site test. And you can change the salutation to something more formal or something more casual. Okay, and then of course you got additional fields to identify that client as proof for a mortgage, home address, business, notes, stuff like that. All right. And then I'll just save this. So I've now got my new contact. And notice up here, it's allowing me to get a blind carbon copy to myself. Oh, also there's a limitation. When you're doing the auto email feature, you can only send out to a total of 8 subjects at any given time. Is there any chance that you've ever sent to a shop? I don't think so, but that is a limitation in the system. So just be aware of that. And then down here, notice it says, I have to get closer just to see what it is. Also send link via SMS text message. You have to request that from the clients if they want to get text messaging. I can't automatically just type in their phone number and start texting them. They have to receive this request and then send me their phone number. So I'll do that. All right, and notice up here, it's now allowing me to send this opt-in option. So you might ask them if they'd be willing to receive them by text messages too. So I'll be sending this along. All right, and that's it there. Sent it out. There it goes. And then down here, I'll just put in a subject. I'll just say Depew. Be specific about what the search contains, especially if you have multiple searches going to the same client. And if you call everyone your new home, then suddenly they're not aware of what they're going to be opening up. And if I ever have to go back and work on one, I'm not sure which one I need to get into to fix it. So let's say Depew Homes down here. And then down here, you have the option. By the way, there is a welcome message that they'll receive the first time only. So if they've never gotten anything from us, when you send this out, it's basically they're opting in for the system. And they'll click on that view listings. Then down here, you have a schedule, and probably you're using the ASAP feature. So they'll get those listings out within seconds of them coming on the market. And by the way, we are the source of all listings that Zillow is using, Realtor.com and everything. So really, this is the fastest way to get listings out to someone. Notice there's also a daily option. Maybe they don't need to be receiving them at the very moment. So I could actually set this up to dump out all listings at 11 o'clock each morning. So they'll click everything that happened from 11 yesterday to 11 this morning, and dump those out in group. If you want to be a little more frequent, you could also use the PM option. And then there's a 6 o'clock thing for that. So maybe they're just kind of casually looking, so I can get them some listings just so they can see what's going on in that market. All right, and then I'll reach down here and actually send that. All right, so they now have those 2 listings and they will start receiving anything else that occurs on the market very quickly. Questions about that part of it? You've probably all gone through that, right? Okay, good. So let me log on to this email. I'm going to show you what it looks like.
If you need to move that little box, you can.
I'm sorry?
If you need to move that little Zoom box on the right, you can.
Okay, all right, thanks.
Okay.
All right, so I'll go into that. I'll sign on as me here. Where's my cursor? There it is. Yeah, it's just trying to find this here. See it. Oops, wrong one. Did that right? Nope. Okay, what do I have to do here? Okay. Yes, that is me. Never had to do that before. Just
I know, it's been happening more lately.
have to do it.
It's doing it again.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, it's like double authentication here. Get that out of the way. Can I move this thing up here? Have to get that bar out of the way here. There we go. Just pick up and drag it. Let's see.
You gotta do the thing on your phone again. It popped another one up.
But then send me a new message.
Oh,
Oh,
no.
wait a minute, here it is. Sign in. Okay. Did that once.
It's working.
All right, so here we go. So anyways, I've got a couple of messages here and right here. I'm not seeing it come in now. All right, well, let me come back to that. For whatever reason, might be a little slower. So that is that. We sent it out. I'll have to wait for that to come in. In the meantime, do you want me to show you how to get those hit counters to see how many times you listen to what that? Would any of you mind if I logged in as you? Or you know what? I can log in with, yeah, I gotta do that. Yeah, would someone mind logging in here? Let's see, I know what I can do. Let's do it this way.
Do we have to have,
Like
our
this?
emails already set up?
Yeah, I can do it this way.
No, it's for your listings, I think.
I don't have it in
Who has some listings?
I don't have a listing.
It's under contract, though.
One listing?
I don't know if it matters if it's under contract.
What's the last name?
Labella,
LA?
Bella.
Right, so only I can do this. And right there. Oh, wait a minute, edit, no, sorry about that, log in. Yeah, it's weird seeing this from a distance like this.
You really could set up at the counter if you wanted to instead.
Yeah, I might have to. Just so I
Why don't you
can
just
read.
bring the keyboard to the counter?
Yeah.
Don't make it difficult on yourself here.
Right.
Oh, I can see now. So anyways, so notice up here, she has one listing there. No, it's under contract. So well, let me use your historical hit counters. So notice this, it says historical hit counters, last 90 days. And by clicking on that, you'll actually be able to see how many times that listing is sent out.
Wow,
This,
I never noticed this.
All right, so right here, we can see the address that's under contract and various stuff like that. But notice here, it shows client portals. That listing is sitting on 390 other agents' clients' portals right now.
Wow.
The clients themselves have actually opened it up and looked at it 271 times. So even though you're sending it, doesn't necessarily mean you're looking at it. Here we do have that count as well. You can notice some of these are links. By clicking on it, it will graph this activity out. You see what's happened for all time.
So this came on the market, a lot of activity about it, and then it kind of dies off. Well, this is pretty good. It's not flatlining along the way, but then it does finally kind of drift off. But it does give you that feedback that you've got a listing that is pretty popular. It's been looked at by a lot of clients that have received it. All right, so if you had another one, you might see a spike jumping up here at some point. That would probably indicate you had a price change or open house or something like that. So it does give you that good feedback. And this can actually be emailed or printed out for your client just so they can see that.
That's cool.
So that's one option that you get with this. Now over here, we can see how many clients have marked it as favorites, how many have marked it as possibilities. Now, I wish this were an active listing. We'd actually be able to reach back and see which agents' clients marked as a favorite or a possibility. How many times was it sent out just using auto emails? What's the activity in the last 14 days? And here, has anyone ever used the concierge way of emailing, auto email? You can actually set up concierge where the listings come to you first. You look at them and decide which ones to forward on to the client. So you're being a lot more selective. And here it's showing that some of these agents had used this feature, and 4 of their clients marked, they had marked it as through that concierge feature. Some of the agents said, no, it's not what my client's looking for, so they rejected those. They just hold it back. It's not a bad listing, it's just their client didn't like it. And then Agent IDX, this is probably rare that you didn't see anything here, although with the new one home, the clients can actually do their own searches on that site. And if they found this listing using that search engine, it would show up here under the Agent IDX. All right, agent views. How many times did agents look at it? Click it and it'll also graph it out. I'm going to show it for the agent view zone. And I could do that for all time. So a lot of agents looked at that property, and then you can see pretty much the same chart along the way. All right, but it does give you good feedback. So if you were to put a listing in right now and go to look at this, all these zeros, that doesn't update until midnight. So you'd have to wait till tomorrow morning, and then you'd see all of the other emails that had found that listing and sent it out. So kind of a handy little feature here. All right, anything else about Michelle on your login? Okay. Let's log you out here. So let me go back into my inbox and see if we've got anything in the meantime. Oh, I'm on tabs.
Just another tab, yeah.
Pretty sure I sent out to that, but
You can do a refresh on it.
yeah, we try that. There's a refresh on this kind of.
Right.
Still not there. Interesting. Okay, so I'll have to stop back again and take a look at that, see if it's there. So anyways, now that we've created the email, where do you go back and actually find it? Up here under my matrix, notice you've got your auto emails. And a couple of indicators are popping up. These open circles indicate that it has been sent, but not yet opened up by the client. Here we've got one that's in red. That indicates that it had expired. Whenever you send out an auto email, they only have 30 days to open it up and take a look, otherwise it does turn it off. So you want to encourage them to open it up quickly because it can turn it off. To identify what actually happened with this, they can also unsubscribe, or you could turn it off as the agent. When I click on the name of the search, I can go into my settings. So anything we have to do with this auto email is just by going into the settings option. I'll click on this. And here we can actually say it was disabled because they ignored the welcome message. So that gives me some feedback. By the way, before that even happens, you're going to be sent an email after 23 days of reading that auto email. That just say your client still hasn't opened up that email yet. So it gives you time to give them a call and say, is there any problem? Did you lose it? Whatever. So what you said. And then you can actually resend that welcome message to them. So let me go up here. Go down to auto emails. So here I've got someone that hasn't yet opened it up. And let's say they just got the notice that they still haven't done it after 23 days, by clicking on their search, I can now come down here and resend that welcome message. Just so they can find it quickly and there we go. And then the green ones are indicating that they have actually gotten in, and we can see the last time that they took a look at it. So it's a great feature in that you're automatically getting those listings because you can't be at the computer 24/7. All right. So you're familiar with that part, right? Okay. At any time, you can go into the criteria and change what you had originally put in. And when you do that, they'll get a new email identifying that they changed their criteria. All right. So let me go back in here. So that's basically it for the auto email. But let me show you what it looks like when they get into it. Have you actually sent yourself an auto email?
Yeah.
See the answer? So, yeah, let's check it over that one I just sent myself. Let's see if I've got another one there. Yeah, I do. Yeah, I'll just do
I think you would
this.
set it up though for the daily, not the ASAP.
Did I set it? Was it
I
set?
think you set it up for daily, not
Oh, okay.
ASAP.
Yeah, but they still should have gotten the first two.
Yeah, the first
Because that was
Yeah.
included.
There's just one that says by.
So anyways, here I've got one. These up. So here's what it looks like. They've got your name up here. Now, initially, they would have gotten that welcome message up there that basically identifies what's all about. And then here's what it's going to look like for them. They'll get the new listings popping up. I don't know why the photo's not popping up here. Oh. Your signature, their housing here. They'll have actually some tutorials if they want to go through how to use this thing a little bit better. And then there's the option that they could unsubscribe. And if your clients ever click that, you will immediately get email saying your client doesn't unsubscribe. So you're aware of that. But if you choose to open it up, and here's a little blurb about you as the realtor, and then here are all the listings that were sent. And they can click on these listings, pictures, and open up the whole view. Notice too with the map, as I drill down to the map, and I'm only looking at 3 properties, only 3 properties will be available on the side. So the map is kind of dictating how much you can actually see on the left. So now we'll be able to see all these properties. We're giving the viewers more capabilities now. They can put in boundaries, they can see the school locations, points of interest, police stations, hospitals, whatever. And then if they open up a listing, they can now get all that detail. Let's move this over here, so we're seeing the whole thing. Let's bring up the map. All right, and then as they click on the listing here, let me move this person on the way. Sorry about that. All right, so now they can actually mark things as favorites. Now, notice up here, it says sign in. So this client has already signed in. At the top right, what they see is an option to create an account. Do you notice that? They have to do that to get all the capabilities on one home. So that will allow them to now be able to mark properties as favorites, create searches and save those searches, to click on the option to say, I want to see a showing of that property. So they do want to create that account. All right, and then coming down, I clicked on the picture, and now it gives me a lot of information. Have you noticed this? They can actually play around with the numbers here. They could kind of play around with the interest rates, dispersion on that, and figure out some financial properties and some insurance, HOAs, and stuff like that. So and one of the reasons that One Home came about is that CoreLogic is trying to give an environment where the clients are staying at one spot rather than jumping out to locations to get more information. There is even a marketplace in there that Buffalo has decided not to turn on yet, where it could then give them information about what we would call for inspections or mortgages or things like that. So that at the point is not being turned on. Request a tour, let me click here. So now I'm going to have to sign in as this client to actually do that. And what it'll do is it'll send you a request for a tour. And the client can work out, well, here are the days I'm available, here are the time frames that are available. So we'll pretty much target that area. And that will go to you as a lead. Doesn't go all to the listing agent. You got those? Okay. So again, that will only happen if they had actually created an account, and then they'll have to sign in and see all that extra stuff.
I have a question.
Yeah,
So I know that the clients can sign in, you can log in, create their accounts. The agents themselves don't have an actual login.
they can see what the screen looks like.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can show you that. All right, down here, they can add a note. This won't be one from. They have to have the account to, accomplish.
Because I was just confused at first when I first opened it up, because then I was like, I wanted to sign in, you know, it's like me, but I can't sign in as the actual agent. I think that was like.
That's why I was confused. I didn't understand what one home use meant for me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, because it says you're in client view or client mode,
Yeah.
then how do you get into agent mode, or is there one?
There's an agent one, I'll show you that. And I think that's probably what most agents are disliking about the product. They should be able to see both sides.
Yeah.
But one of the problems was if you had had communication through notes back and forth and everything, they could share that link with someone else and they would see all that communication. Where this is more private, it's, they have to have the volume to see the notes that you've left with each other. The comparison, you look at this, kind of cool. You can actually put 3 properties side by side. So I'm gonna start comparing here. Here's one of them.
No, me neither.
I could add a new property. So from search. And let's say I'm also looking at another
So
property.
the clients can do this?
The clients can do this. Yeah, well, I'm doing it too on my own. And then we could have yet another property to compare. And what's cool about this too is now they can see the features side by side, but they can also then pull up the same picture. I want to see the picture of the kitchen for all 3 properties and then have that as a comparison. Okay, compare. All right, so now we've got a lot of features that can be now viewed. We can change numbers in here to see how that would affect financing, all that good stuff. And then down here, you can now say, well, let's see what the kitchens look like side by side. There it is. There we go. Like just the counter space maybe. So maybe this is something you might want to.
Yeah, no kitchen.
Yes, no kitchen.
So you may want to educate your clients that they can do this, like play around with the compare option. I think it'll be pretty intuitive once they've gotten in there. Oh, there's only one picture for this one, okay. So that doesn't help. But it's kind of nice because now they can compare these different features side by side. How far is it down here? I've lost the picture since I jumped to the other side, but it's different. And then they can open up the property details for each of these and compare. So that part is unique. We didn't have anything like that before.
Really nice.
Now, is this an app that like you can share with your clients, or do they have to actually log into a computer to do this?
They have to, I don't think they have the side-by-side compare option on the.
Okay.
And it is not.
The site is different, because I don't, this view does not look familiar to
Right.
me.
Right.
I'm just doing everything on my
Are
phone.
you doing
Yeah.
that? Phone?
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's what I was asking. So only if the client sent the MLS app, that's the only one that you use. So I was wondering if this is going to kind of replace that. You know what I mean? Because like people are using on their phones nowadays.
Which one are you referring to?
Just the regular New York State MLS app, the
Yeah, that's
search engine.
right. They don't have that.
Yeah,
They'll still be available.
yeah.
I mean, and this is not an app, by the way. They'll still have to log in. They'll have to go with the link that you sent them.
They should
And
make
that's
it an app.
something. And on a phone, there's not the space to have 3 properties. They'll be able to see 2 properties side by side. All right, so just a lot of new features here. So you want to kind of get familiar with what the clients are saying too. That's why you want to send yourself a link, just so you can kind of say, well, by the way, notice that little button in the top right corner?
Are there taxes listed on here?
And then what?
The
Taxes.
taxes?
Taxes,
I want to say for some reason, I either struggle to find it or it's not on here.
it is somewhere, and tell you the truth, I don't
When
think.
you
I
do it mobilely, I think if you have to scroll down, I know that there's like an option, but then if you look, there's like a small tab. And it says taxes. It's like, but it doesn't start with taxes. It has like,
It's not, it isn't
This is
there
a
at all.
different view.
Yeah, let me open up just a single property here.
Yeah, I got it.
Just open up one here.
That's a huge, I mean, that's a huge factor, so.
That's why I like my client sees the MLS there, because it's the only one with like actual taxes in it.
So the taxes are down. So that's property taxes, assessment and everything.
I feel like I find it under,
So that's just.
or is it Redfin that I'm thinking of? That might be Redfin. Look at that.
Some of the properties. It's got some of these ranking scores, there's a walkability score, and a transit, things like that.
Public record data, we haven't had this before in here. I don't think your clients will be too interested in this, but it'd be helpful. So there's a lot more detail to get in than I ever had with the old.
Is there kind of the biggest difference between just the regular matrix portal and one of them is the ROE new?
It's what the clients are saying. That's the
Okay.
biggest difference, yeah. And the fact that it's more private, they have to log in to see the detail.
Okay.
So yeah, that's the biggest part of it. And then, let's see what up here. There, now because I couldn't log in, let's check it one more time, see if I can get in. I'm still in it. We did it. What's it?
Another tab.
It's the second, the tab.
Yeah,
Next to
there's
it.
a difference, yeah.
Go over one, go over two.
Okay. There we go, thanks. So, yeah, what's up?
Under Amy is your inbox.
What are you saying?
Look under Amy, see Amy on the Zoom call. See Amy's face waving on the left. Look for Amy waving, and then below Amy's face, you can get to her inbox. Nope, down.
You can move you around, Amy. So,
See the little where it says 260 something, the red circle?
oh, yeah, very.
Click on it. I think that's your inbox. Yeah, right there. There we go.
So,
Sorry, Amy.
no, I'm not saying that there, so. Yeah, I can't tell you why that hasn't come through. I may have used.
Wait, did you not get the email, auto email?
Yeah.
Yeah, I set one up like 20 minutes ago, I didn't get it.
You got it?
No,
It took a while?
no,
He
I
didn't
still,
get
Still hasn't gotten it.
Okay.
Sometimes it goes to the spam folder.
Oh,
Yeah, look at that promotions folder.
Yeah.
yeah.
Junk folder.
So, well, one of the things that they'll get when you send out, they'll have an option where they can rank what's most important to them. You see that option? Or they can say, well, I'm looking for a smart home or something that's more traditional, I'm looking for open concept or whatever the case might be. And you can kind of, they'll have these questions where they can say, this is most important to me, that's most important, and everything. It'll then rank it. At the bottom, they'll be able to say, well, this is most important out of the three choices that really are what we're looking for. And if you're sending it to, say, a husband and wife team, where they could each rank what's most important to them in a house, it will then look at each property you sent them, and it will rank it with a percentage match. So like one of the properties comes in, and maybe for her, it's like an 85% ranking, or for him, maybe it's 50%. So they'll kind of look at those choices and kind of say, well, this house is hitting most of the points that you're interested in. Let me go back to Matrix, and I'll show you where you can actually see that.
Can I ask you a quick question while you're there? So say the wife puts in, I want a large kitchen. Is it pulling from like descriptions or what type of?
It's more general, it doesn't look at the actual individual rooms. It'll look at like storage, parking, large.
Probably
lots.
checkboxes,
Yeah.
probably not.
Yeah.
Okay.
Let me show you something.
That's more what parameters.
So let me contact here, and I've got one contact here, I think, I set it up for this guy. So here's that property fit score, maybe I can move it around again. All right, so here it's like, what describes you best? are you looking for a newer home versus older, and then they can kind of check off what really is what they're looking for. And then this will then help the system rank, and we got properties to kind of get to the points that they're looking for.
I'm sorry, I think I missed it. So at what point will they see this? When they first log in?
Once they get to the setup of account, they'll get those questions. And they'll be able to go through, and they'll probably like doing that too. It's like, for this, I like patio, I like backyard views, stuff like that. So they'll like those. And then they'll, for the interior and exterior features, they'll be able to pull up some of those things and move them to, this is not number 1, 2, and 3.
So if it says I like my privacy, what is the system going to tell them?
It will just rank those properties and say, if you like your privacy, then I send them a house with everything goes on top of each other. We really try to pack that street.
Okay,
That would be,
so you get those answers.
right, yeah.
Okay.
So let me show you the property that I sent them here. So let's go and look at the sent emails here. Right, I'll just open up one. And well, this is before they actually did it, but notice this property fit. It says 0 right now, but that would show that percentage ranking. Now, if it's a husband and wife where they both did it, I would have 2 columns, and I can see how it affected them individually. Let's see, we go on the top ones and see if that's actually pulling up that way. So sent out. So notice it says 56%. So we're getting half of the points that are important to them. So if we got one that's 80 or 90%, then it's like, you should look at this house. It's getting a lot of what we're looking for. And again, this is just one person, so there's only one column showing that information. All right.
Just how they do it, you just show someone that had picked some options.
So it is a little get used to. I mean, if you're a new agent or you haven't seen the old auto email, I mean, then you're just learning something the way it is now. So you never know on the whole baggage. Let's see. What else are you thinking of as far as auto email?
I haven't done this in a while, as far as searching in multiple towns, but I know I used to have a problem. I tried to search like the village of Depew in the town of Lancaster, it would show nothing. Yeah. What is the restrictions on the searches?
Like if you're looking for a town, let's say I'm looking for the town of Amherst, but then I put in the village of Depew, suddenly they cancel each other out because Depew has nothing to do with Amherst. So if you want the towns that are not contiguous, say the village, use this instead of, don't use the town and village, use area. So this will accept the towns and villages.
Okay.
So here I can put in Amherst and Lancaster. So here's pulling up the Depew, and that's every village. So now I'm getting a station.
Yeah, because like specifically for Depew, because it's a village split by 2 towns, so people have to be on the Cheektowaga side or the Lancaster side.
Does that have Depew, Cheektowaga split as well, or is it only in?
No, it's not.
Does it show Depew, like, oh, he was typing like. Okay.
I'm in here and I type in Amherst. It's also allowing me to pull in just the village, which is part of Amherst. So Amherst will bring Amherst and the village of Williamsville. Or I could just put it down and just grab Williamsville.
Nice.
So now reverse that, like yesterday I had a client, she wanted to switch her search parameters because we had some things changed. She basically wants Niagara County,
Okay.
but nothing in Niagara Falls.
Okay, so.
Yes, so I set it up last night, so I told her, let me know if it doesn't work, but I put Niagara County. And then I put not Niagara Falls town.
Great.
Will that work?
I could do that, yep.
Okay,
So there's Niagara Falls. And here you are using that not option.
right,
It's
okay.
more usual to-
I got nervous because I know that Lancaster, Depew, town of Lancaster Village hadn't worked for me in the past. I wasn't sure if we couldn't narrow it down those
Yeah.
specific ones.
Okay,
Okay,
so
cool.
if you're looking at something weird like that, we're looking at Niagara County and I'll do, let's say Niagara Falls. Yeah, oops. There's a city of Niagara. Or never knew that. I got 167 properties. Let's go look at the results here. So let's say we're looking at this and someone says, oh, don't show me any properties on Shore Drive. It's just bad blood there. Who knows what the case might be. They don't want to see anything in that one street. How do you get rid of that? I'll go back to my criteria and notice you have the street name field here. I could actually do an exclamation point and then type in Shore.
Oh,
Exclamation point?
Exclamation point is saying I'm not.
really?
That's interesting.
That's really cool.
Also an entry, but then put that there. So now when I do the search again, notice we no longer have Shore where it used to be.
Oh, okay.
It's rare that you're going to use that, but if you can remember when you need it.
Can you do multiples and separate them by a comma? Like Shore, exclamation,
Let's
comma,
get rid of lake here also.
like,
So I'll go back to
or
criteria.
like exclamation,
I
comma.
don't know if I've ever
Just
done
do it
a
the one below it.
do leak. Let's see if that takes that out. Actually, I should have seen that without even doing that. Let's get. So I've got 166. Leak.
I want to drops it down to 9.
Now, lake is still there, so I might have to do the
Exclamation point. Yeah,
Tell you the truth, I've never tried that.
yeah, like if you do Shore, exclamation, comma,
Or
like,
could you, there's another field below it, could you put it in the next box down?
oh, yeah, and then there's more below
I could do that, right. Let's see if
it.
it does.
Let's see if this one.
Lake is still there. Actually, I've got Shore now too, so it's obviously not
It's
rectangular.
not-
Yeah, it's confusing.
Yeah.
So let's go down the next field. I like it. Sometimes I learn stuff I didn't know either. All right, so now I've got both of those. By the way, you can open up 10 input fields here if you needed to.
So you don't use a comma.
And
It's still there.
Is the exclamation point in there?
yeah, why is it not working now?
Well, I've just gone and messed it all up.
Now you broke it.
I broke it with my question. Sorry.
Oh, now Shore's there again.
Oh, that's crazy.
So you guys get a name on each time? Click off the back. Criteria is coming.
Okay, so I got rid of that. So why can't I do a second one? Doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
I would check out the back.
I guess you can. I guess it's just one at a time.
Only allowed to exclude one street.
No, one other thing I could try. Let's just take this out, put in a comma after Shore, which is an or. Actually, it would be an and, I would think. Oh, that seemed to work. So if you put in a comma. and then a space. and
Oh,
then the-
space.
Space, exclamation, okay.
Is there any way to do multifamily and single family in the same?
Yes.
Yeah. You do lose a lot of the individual fields when you do that. Though. Just for an example, let's say I'm looking for residential property and commercial, I suddenly lose the ability to search by loading downs, something like that. So, yeah, you can do that, and it's a search. So go to search here, and notice you have what's called cross property, and then I'd come over here and do this, and I can now select what properties do I want comparing. So I could look for the multifamilies. But I'm pretty limited to just the location, the price, the square footage, things like that. I don't have the ability to search by unit numbers or anything like that anymore. So I would say do your separate property types separately, some results separately.
What about, is there a way to, if somebody is looking for single family residential, 3-bedroom, 1.5 bath, but they only want to be in a subdivision,
Do I want to be?
like in a neighborhood versus like on a main road?
With subdivisions, a lot of agents don't know subdivision names. Like I grew up in an area and everyone knew Green Acres or something. But now the newer agents don't know what's called Green Acres anymore.
But isn't there like a box in the listing so you can just check
Right down there.
You can search by subdivision.
Yeah, no, I know, but is there a way to just check like that I want, only want
Yeah.
homes,
It doesn't have to be a specific.
not a specific subdivision, but they want something that's in a neighborhood versus on William Street or Aurora, or, do you know what I'm saying?
Okay, let's see. Research, yeah.
Yeah, I've never,
So there is a subdivision complex which is already out there.
Right.
what about that other
But I'm
one?
just more like a.
65 plus.
Yeah, there's a one that I know of. Basically, you probably want to use a map to do that. You don't use mapping, right?
Yeah.
So I can actually open up, I could say the area that I want, let's say I'm looking for Amherst and I want Snyder Woods. Let me try that.
You know, they're not looking for a specific subdivision.
Yeah.
Right.
So not a specific one, okay.
Do you see what I'm saying? They just don't want to be on a main road.
Great.
So there's a lot of that.
Now, when you have listing, is there an option that you actually check off
That's what
subdivision?
I'm saying. I want to say there is, but maybe not.
I don't have listing, so.
But if they if you put in the name of it, then you would think that there's checkboxes.
If it's a newer subdivision, I don't probably notice. But if it's something older, 10 years older, maybe one of these don't know that.
I don't know that I've had clients, like,
I
they
don't know
just
that I've
know
ever
they don't
had-
want to be on a main road, they want to be like in a neighborhood.
I think they're just gonna have to look at what you said and then. Hopefully you can narrow it down to like,
You just did something, not a neighborhood incident.
Because maybe that's not the right word, but maybe it's just more like, you want to avoid being on main.
I mean-
Yeah, they'd rather be instead of like, yeah, something with Starbucks and stop signs versus.
Yeah.
Well, was that maybe when it says like privacy, when they check their things and it says like you want to look at privacy? I don't want to say that necessarily.
Here's this Snyder Woods here. I could actually draw on the map.
We got a drawing tool here, and I could actually say, you know what, this is what we're looking for, any properties, and right here. So now that will just give me properties that are in that subdivision.
Yeah, that's not the question.
Okay.
Yeah, say our town specific.
you have to weed through everything.
But people right now are just so like, they have like their options open, so. All I know is I'm willing to live in a, where I just gotta be like in a neighborhood, I can my kids, I don't want to be like on the road. There's I do that a lot, you know?
Would there be any keywords that agents might put in to identify that?
Cul-de-sac or.
Cul-de-sacs,
And you don't
obviously.
want them to talk about.
Yeah, right. That might,
Right, because if they don't.
but if it's not an actual,
I just usually explain to my clients, so one of those properties you don't belong on an angel.
Yeah. Just it'd be a nice way to.
Gotta go along with that.
You know, because I'm like, okay, it's not, you don't
No,
want
I have a
to.
question.
Right,
There's also like, out of meetings. So I.
Maybe they're really nice houses.
Now,
Nice street, like, oh my God, I love this house.
Exactly. And I'm
But you
going
get,
to-
like, you get the times where, you know, they could say they don't want to neighbor.
Something I don't know, my end, it's like, shut up. I forgot this other one.
Oh, yeah.
And like, I don't know, yeah.
And I'm wondering, it's coming up in their search and yet it's in, you know, in the criteria to put in, but it's never seen them.
If you know what you sent us.
What's that?
Yeah.
He comes about every morning. I'm gonna change it to SAP, but I've noticed now, oh, maybe it just didn't, you know, maybe it came up after the morning. Listings went out and it'll go out tomorrow. And I'll even go through and if I see one that really like suits their needs, I'll just email to them.
Right.
I noticed it was happening and I thought, oh, yeah, this is impressive. When I look at my needs regs, and I go to my searches, if I go,
Would you go into the
I go
contacts?
down to save searches,
Okay,
and then I'll put the name, or what my save search was.
okay, so you name.
I usually name, yeah, and I'll go from there.
Yeah, one, there and. Oh, they haven't created any searches.
I can't figure out why that would be, if you're in your searches, and it's somehow why.
They show you that.
Yeah,
Yeah, can I take her out?
Okay.
Oh, one thing too, we should start to use the one home, as a new place you want to get your photograph to show up, which is new. You've probably been over here where you click on your name and there's some setting options. And what we used to do is go over to my information and you want to fill in this header and footer that we created nice again that you see at the top of the photo. That's not being used anymore for the auto email. This will still show up if you wanted to print it out on a listing or when you do a CMA. But where you need to go now is right here to one home. This is where you want to get your photograph showing up.
Really good photos.
Parks and Recreation.
But right here, initially it'd be set to no photo. If you want to use a custom photo, by clicking change photo, here's where you then browse for those photos. This is what we're now showing. Over here, you can actually have up to 3 graphics of photos stored. So tell me what to do.
So you say.
It's not done. And then further down. And then down here, you can actually put in what information you want to see on the photos. You put in just like reading to them. And you can have a video here too. Everyone ever see these videos? Want to see it? That might be. Yeah, video result there. And then again, it's over here, settings, and then my information. Oh, another thing too, if you are using the auto email, you can actually have the notifications from the client show up in the phone as a text message or email. So if someone says, I want to see this house, or have a question about it, or just mark it as a favorite. Right down here, again, I'm going to go to my name, settings. There's an option called portal notification settings here. And by clicking on this, I can identify if this event takes place, send me an email or send me a text message. So I've been waiting for them to log in. Definitely let me know, give me a text message. If they mark something as a favorite, yeah, send me a text message. If they have to do it, maybe this is more important, so I want to be notified every possible way. I could even be notified the next morning if they summon me from what occurred the day before. And down here, you do have to look here and put in your full cell phone number with area code. And then down below you identify your carrier. And that just, we're pinging that device just to make sure you can get that text message to it. So I'll just go through and show you what it looks like. Notice there's no spaces or dashes in the numbers, just a big string, and then I'll identify my carrier. And then I have to click here, send me a verification code. And in about 10 seconds, I'm going to get a 4-digit code and I'll type that in. And that basically completes this process. And you won't have to touch that again. 014. All right, and then I'll just save that. I can come back anytime and change what I want to be notified about, but that part's done. So, kind of a handy little feature. And you're all aware that you can move these fields around, right? Organize it. Let's see, anything else? You're aware that up here at the speed bar, you can type in an address and then over, just to search quickly. Okay. Let's see, anything for searching? Any searching issues you run into?
Village thing.
Problems?
Amy, do you have any questions?
Oh, I have a question about the criteria, bathrooms. I'm trying to remember, like, I've had people say that they definitely want. I feel like I'm not, if you could explain how the full bath, half bath, total baths works.
Oh, yeah.
Because I think I've put in like 2 total baths, but like, or maybe 3 total baths, but it doesn't matter if it's.
2 full, 2
Yeah.
Like a half.
Yeah.
Yeah. You don't care how you get
It's how
it.
many are in the house, whether they're.
Yeah, and it's got at least 2 full baths, but it would like a total of 4 or something like that. Like, do you know what I'm saying? Like a range, for some reason it doesn't.
So it could be any combination,
work right the way I think it's.
maybe 3 full but 1 half, or maybe 1 full and 3 halves, or something like that.
You're saying like just a range, like they want.
3 toilets.
Ideally like 4, but they'll be okay if they go 2.
So, okay, so I'm trying to think of an example, hang on, let me think about this. So maybe they want 2.5 baths. But if I put in 2 plus 1 plus,
Okay.
then it's not including, there might be a house that doesn't have 2.5, but they have 3 full. Do you see what I'm
I
saying?
would just use total baths at that point.
Yeah, let me show you this.
Yeah, and it doesn't seem to populate the same results as if I do it the other way around. Like, I don't know, I just, like I said,
Yeah, so like in this instance, someone's saying we gotta have 2.5 bathrooms, so do 2 full and
right,
1 plus for the half bath. And they got 29 properties, but I'm actually missing all properties that have 3 full baths. and
Right.
1 full bath.
right, that's what I'm saying.
And the
Yeah.
problem is, the computer was going to make sure there's a half bath and a.
Right.
All right, so let's leave these out. Instead, what I want to do is go up to, or down to total baths. In fact, as I hover over that field, notice the last 2 lines are actually showing how you can do that. So what I have to do is I have to do 2.1, and the point just separates the full from the half. So this is the acceptable starting point, and then with the plus.
Okay.
And now this time I got 29 properties, so I got about 5 more properties. And if we look at the results, you'll see right here, was it, oh, maybe the second page. Was it 29 the first time?
Yeah.
Okay. Let me change this. Let's make
There you go,
it.
it's at the top. There's a couple of different ones.
Half and 4.5.
Yeah,
By
but
30 for 3
they all had a half bath,
Yeah,
so that wasn't a good example. I usually start with 1,
yeah.
so let's do it this way. So someone's saying, you know what? Let's get rid of this. So someone said, we have to have at least a bath and a half. We can't live with just 1 bath. So I'll do 1 plus, and then half baths, 1 plus. And what I get? I got 43 properties. Okay, so let's get rid of this.
Could you also then include 3 in the total baths to say like you really don't care what that third one is?
You could, yeah.
Does that confuse anything or?
Well, really, what do they do? They need 3 full baths, if that's really the starting point.
No, they need at least 3 bathrooms, but one of them can be a half bath, but it's okay. if it's 3 full baths.
They need 3 full. So I would say just search for 3 full baths or greater. And then anything else that pops up as far as half baths. that'd be- I see, okay. So anyways, here I did it with the 1.5 minimum with the results. And here's one right there. That had 2 full baths, so that wasn't found the first time I went through that search.
Okay. Got it.
And you're aware of the history and all that good stuff. So by clicking on this little guy up here, it'll actually show me how many times this property's been on the market. You can see the prices it has, status changes and all that good stuff. All right, close that. Going back to here, are you aware that you can actually change your displays, put in any information that you want to see? So if I'm interested in planning fireplaces into these substances, full tax, you can customize this display. You see that, you want to see it? Okay. So let's say, really, I need to know how many garage spaces and fireplaces, so I don't have to open up a dozen different things. If you click on, say, the label for address, it'll just quickly sort that column. But if I slide off of that, notice I get a four-headed arrow in that same box. And by left clicking it, I can now insert any column that I need to see. So I want to see, let's say total taxes. I'll just do tax, and it gives me a lot of different tax choices to make. I want the total taxes. I highlight, click apply, and in a moment I now have the total taxes. shown.
That's pretty awesome.
It's a game changer.
So
Yeah, I had no idea.
information, or you're trying to pull something out, just have a column that shows it.
Instead of having to go in and look at each and.
Yeah.
How many things can you have across? I mean, it's probably a limit. I know the movie is like,
That makes you want, but not gonna-
it's right, you'll have to expand them and.
Now, the thing too, like here, it's jammed right against this, the town, which isn't too bad, but maybe it was jammed up against the, let's move this one. It's jammed right up against the post numbers. Now it's harder to decipher which is tax and which is number. If you left click, once I hit the cursor below or above that label, it allows me to left click again. One of the things I can do would be to center that column. And now just that little bit of buffer space makes it easier to read.
Justifies it.
But anything you need to put in there, I can put in the listing agent's name and phone number or number of photos. So once I've done it, one other thing too.
Does that stick then forever? or Do you have to do that every search?
Yeah, right now, if I were next.
Okay.
Let's right here, we got this over here. I'm clicking that, this will now allow me to set the display sort of an account as my sort of.
Very nice.
What is that? Now I have a new custom display called my agents.
Okay.
So that, and if I have multiples, let me set up here. Like here, I put in one bills display, and I put in what square feet here and crowd spaces and days on market, things like that.
Could you customize it and make it like,
That price per square foot that you have broken down?
Oh, yeah, sure. So all it is, I put in a ratio for this. Let me do one. I'll do ratio of, I think that's list price per square foot. Let me put it in sold. Let me show you where I actually got it. I did an insert column. I searched by the word ratio.
your client?
And so there are a couple calculations that you can make use of. So here I use list price by square feet.
There. Oh, no, that's by acres. Oh, maybe current price.
Right. So however you want to show that information. Now, you can't do your own calculations. You can use the ones that are pre-written. But no, this is great. But like, here's one that I do. When I'm looking for sold properties, when I do my CMA class, say it's like for just solds in this area. Well, that's a lot. Let's narrow it down a little bit by 4 bedrooms. Still a lot. And 3 baths. Okay, so I got 12 here. So now when I go to results, I can see even a special custom display that I created. So now I'm looking at like the original price, the final sale price. Are there any concessions? How about the ratio between the sale price and original price? I like this because now I can quickly see everyone's getting what they're listing for, but they got 2% under, they got 12% under. Things like that. How many days on market? A lot of times that will go hand in hand. If it's on longer, you get less for their asking price. But yeah, there's all sorts of ways you can customize this. And this one I actually gave a unique label to. So just when I'm doing CMA, I can pull that one display up. And how you do that? Right up here, rather than clicking this, that would make it a daily default view. I click on this little box, manage display. So now here I could actually give this a new name. I'll call it my com info 2.
I said you could even do this like for a client, so if you have clients that certain things are important, you could run the search and then click on that particular client and see all the results with all the different.
Right, yeah. If there's one feature that they're looking for, and you don't want to go through a dozen list.
Right.
Out, so.
You could do it by client.
All
That would work.
right, so now I've got a second custom display up here. That's it right there. There's my comp info, there's my comp info 2. But those are handy just to have customized displays that will show you just what you're looking for.
How many will it hold?
I mean, what?
How many will it hold? Like a custom displays?
There's a limit there. Yeah.
I should know if you did it, for clients after a while, would you start having to delete people?
It's a limit. It's nothing I've ever mentioned.
Not that I've been interested.
She just wants to know her options.
I just want my options.
Well, so that's a good question though, say you do this for individual clients like you always say, and then those clients buy a house, how do you delete that
You're right, yeah.
folder?
I've never heard of using this for individual clients. I mean, you probably do that with the.
Yeah.
Saying, well, yeah, we're looking for whatever feature it is. Or this will just display it more for your use.
Yeah.
So what I would do if I want to get rid of this, I would highlight it, make sure I'm on that one. Go back to that little box that says manage display, and I can come down here and delete that. Nice, but no, that thing's amazing. If there's any of these features you need, push the over there, you can drag them more. Maybe I do use the history of them. I would have that over here. And then I would want to save that using the computer up here. That's anything else? Another thing too, I don't know if you've ever looked at this. Have you ever seen these co-op chat buttons?
Yeah, I never used them.
You probably never clicked on it. have you? It's actually an old search engine that we had once upon a time. I do like it on it. I've got the same features up here. You probably have users other than there's one report that I like to have. If you said, at least I'm showing my classes. So first it'll show you the search fields over here, you got a map, and now it's opening up these boxes with specific information. And what I like is down here, it's the actual nearby schools. So if your clients are looking for a certain school and maybe they want to know what services do they offer, maybe they're looking for a gifted to Delta program, I can click on the Maple East Elementary School. It gives a lot of detail about that one school.
Oh, that's cool.
And then down here, you see who to contact, what range is covered, and they do have a gifted Delta program. So I've never been able to find another list that shows this type of detail. So and then that could then be emailed out to whoever's interested in seeing the information, or just print it. Also, I have other maps down here. I can see nearby distressed properties, some. Foreclosure details and around there. So here we have the map of the nearby distress, and here are those addresses, things like that. Bank loan, the default, stuff like that. So just for some of the information it offers, it's kind of interesting to pull up once in a while and take a look. All right, and then over here, what's this one? Here's my box to close it here.
Back to map.
Let's go back to map there, but that's not what I want. I'm looking for the option to close it. Oh, I'm not seeing. What is that? Well, let's close it this way. So up here, I can now go to this data co-op here. This will give me a list of all those reports. I can now check out the functions and okay, so that's one thing. But this next one's kind of interesting. It's a lot of census information here. So I'll click on this third co-op. That's neighborhood information. Potential population growth for just this one zip code. So we can now see what's going on there. Demographic information, school types. What's that pulled here? I can pull up the wrong one. That. No. But it's taking me right to the school reports. Can't tell you
Well,
what's
there's
in-
14 pages, so maybe there's more
Yeah,
to
but
start the school.
I've never seen it formatted this way though.
I think those things.
Show me businesses. I don't want to see all this stuff. Well, that's curious. I can't tell you why it's taking me to that format. I'm signing this thing, right? Yeah. Oh, interesting. But usually it gives you a lot of census data. It'll show you population, distribution, male, female, income levels, things like that. median mortgage amount.
Regardless of that, wow, right?
RPR has that information too,
It's
right?
nice to see.
This should be easy, I mean, right from here.
But I'm sorry, I can't tell you why it's taking me to that report first. You can also do the same thing with the tax information here.
You go to the neighborhood profile, have you done those, real list? Now, this is going to open up the real list when I put this, but it won't take too long.
But it'll show me some more information. Estimated population, median age. We can see in this case, what is that? Age distribution, so it looks like there's a lot of younger families in that area. Gender, married to single. What portion, here's median home sale price. Occupancy, rentals.
It's nice if they're trying to find like a neighborhood full of kids.
But,
Be nice if like you have a family looking for like a neighborhood with
right, yeah.
younger people and kids.
It'll show portions of rentals versus home, owner occupied, stuff like that. Just have to be careful with some of the stuff that you might be sharing with your clients. It's true, but what are you trying to tell me here?
Well, that's what I was gonna ask you, I'm surprised that's not warehousing.
Yeah.
Yeah, just be aware of what is
Yeah.
in that stuff. We can just try to local site simpler information.
All right, so that is that, yeah, so that's real list. So, anything else?
So for one home, do we have our own, like on this, I did add my photo, the lady showed us.
Right.
And then it says like, add your one home website. Do we have one? I thought we didn't, like, isn't that for the clients?
You don't have to look at that on the phone, enter one home website.
Yeah, it's like one home license number, one home fax, one home agent web URL, one home team name, one home office name, so like, that's, I guess, I was kind of confused, I thought one home was gonna be like a whole new system for us, that's kind of the way it seemed online.
Right.
I didn't realize it was more client based.
It's client based.
Okay, okay, so I was overthinking this whole
I
thing.
know, you're not alone.
Yeah.
I don't wanna tell you, 'cause I would try to click on something and it said, you can't do this in each
Yeah.
preview mode. So I said, oh, is there like each?
Yeah. And then even the emails from Annette, I was like trying to watch them, like the welcome to one home, and it was all like, what your client can do. And I was like, who's gonna teach me how to use it?
I need to know.
I opened up one of my auto emails here, and there is an option where I can open it in one home, just to see what the clients are seeing.
Either they're seeing, but you can't test it out and do anything in there because you're an agent.
Yeah,
Like that's.
so
Yeah,
like the
yeah.
portal is for them, so it's okay.
And
To see the Lacey is nice.
So it's really for their use, we don't know what their user ID and password is.
Yeah.
So it's really just private
But it
for
doesn't
them.
give us the option to go in to get the realtor view.
Right.
So what happens is, like, when I do the set of my auto emails, I get myself copied on everything, so I can see what my clients are getting. Just in case they're writing something that comes through that I'm like, oh my God, they totally love this, I want to shoot them a text to make sure they
Yeah.
saw it. And I'll open it up and look at it, but it's only giving me what they see.
Yes.
And in order for me to get more information on like the private remarks and stuff, I then still have to go in and log into the,
Yeah, you just
Right,
like
right.
your own listing.
so it would be nice if it gave you like a, you know, just a hyperlink or something.
Their own page.
To like kind of, or even, yeah, I mean.
Bring it all together.
Yeah.
I guess that's where I was confused. But I don't know.
So, yeah, it is a big difference, and it's more comprehensive, so it's not that.
Oh, they're on the little
All
one.
right, let's see. So hopefully I've gone through everything that.
Yeah, there's a lot of good information. I didn't know.
Whatever you're talking about.
If you ever need any help too, you can call me.
Just speak out.
My number. I can write it up there or-
Thank you. Great, thank
Do you
you
teach
so
any
much. Rob.
CE classes for Wiener?
I do, yeah, right now they're all Zoom.
Yeah, there's still no. What classes do you teach there?
It's, I do the beginner class, we have that broken down into 2 sessions. Right now, and then also the, part 2, which is the whole, pretty good with that. And then a CMA class.
CMA class.
And then I show you the existing CMA that you've been using for the last 20 years or whatever, and then also the new one, 360 CMA, that will automatically find the comps for you. Kind of cool, because it simplifies 20 of the best comps to use, so you don't have to go digging for those. And I think I might be able to.
I would suggest that class to some of our newer agents too. And anyone watching this recording, maybe you should check that class out.
Yeah, if you see it on the 360 CMA, it's not real detailed. Like our national trainer did it, and he does the regular CMA, and then the last 2.5 minutes he covers 360. It's like, really? That's all.
That's it, yeah.
Yeah.
Come on, give me more.
Yeah, steps I'd like to see you too.
Yeah, please,
Yeah.
yeah. Give me more. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
That was definitely.
Yeah, there's a lot of good stuff in there.
Road.
I was thinking, I was gonna,
Yeah. Cheese, cheese, the road. You want a cube of cheese? You want some cube of cheese? Sounds really good.